been an interesting journey. I've been working on smartwatches personally for about 5 years now. I put together the first prototype in my dorm room when I was studying engineering at TU Delft. This is one of the extremely early prototypes, just an Arduino hacked together. But ever since then, my team and I have been working on the product that the product that has now become Pebble. Pebble's a smartwatch. You know, what is a smartwatch? To some people, a smartwatch is one of those Dick Tracy-esque devices that has the phone and everything integrated onto your wrist. To us, a smartwatch is a connected device, which means that it talks to your smartphone. It's customizable, so it can run different apps and different watch faces. And it's sleek. This is Pebble. You'll notice that it looks very similar to what we talked about in our Kickstarter project. We're pretty proud of the fact of the way it turned out. But we're even more proud of what we're announcing today. So after a couple months of waiting, we're proud to say that Pebble is in mass production and will be ready to ship. The first Pebbles will be shipping to our Kickstarter backers on January 23rd. This is sort of the culmination of this year-long or 8-month-long Kickstarter project, and we're extremely proud of the way that it turned out. In mass production, we'll be manufacturing it at the top rate of 15,000 Pebbles per week. So we understand that we know that it will take a little while for us to get all the Pebbles out to each and every one of our backers. It'll take about 6 to 8 weeks. And then on top of that, we've received many pre-orders on our getpebble.com website. And so right after we finish filling all of our Kickstarter orders, we'll be carrying on and shipping out to our pre-order customers. So with that big reveal, something that I think a lot of people have been waiting for out of the way, I'd like to move on and talk a little bit about the hardware, what we're actually shipping with Pebble, the software, so the architecture that we've designed, the underlying Pebble OS, and the user interface, something that we haven't shown off yet. So I'll jump right into it. Like I said, our idea of a smartwatch is that it's a connected, customizable, and sleek device. One of the core components of this product, actually the first component that we chose was the display. The display also allows us to have a battery life that lasts for 7 days on one single battery charge. That's because the e-paper display doesn't take too much current to maintain the state of the display, so we can move the watch into an extremely low power. It's also designed sort of at the base to be a sports and fitness watch. So Pebble's very light. It's 38.2 grams, which I'm told in Imperial is 1.3 something ounces. Anyways, 38.2 grams, so it's very light on the wrist. It's made of polycarbonate, so it's strong, and there's a polycarbonate lens on top protecting the display. We put a hard coat on top of this polycarbonate lens, an anti-scratch coat. The strap is a standard 22mm watch strap. We designed a custom strap that fits really great. It's a polyurethane band. But if anyone wants to, they can interchange that band with any standard 22mm watch strap. So if you prefer a leather band, or if you want to put a metal strap on there as well, you can do that just with a standard band. What makes it a great sports watch is that it's actually it's water resistant to 5 atmospheres. Now, we mentioned this during our Kickstarter project, but we never really explained, or when we announced it during our Kickstarter project, we didn't really get into the details. So we're proud to say that through the design process, we've been able to maintain a 5 atmosphere rating for Pebble. This means that it's perfect for going for a run in the rain, or swimming, or going sailing, or even doing the dishes. The Pebble, it really is kind of cool because it means that you don't have to take off your watch when you're doing, running around your everyday life. I practically leave my watch on quite a long time. Another thing that we haven't announced yet is the magnetic charging cable. In order to make the watch waterproof or water resistant, we had to come up with an innovative method for charging the watch. A lot of other sports and smartwatches have very clunky docks or cradles that involve a large piece of plastic that you have to carry around we've designed something a little different. It's a tiny USB cable with a custom head on the end that snaps onto your Pebble, just like that. It means that we don't have any gaping holes in the side of the watch for a charge port, and it means that we can still maintain our water rating. So this is the cable. As you might know, we had a color option as one of the reward types in our Kickstarter project, and that involved a vote where I think we had over 16,000 people vote for which color they wanted. We ended up getting so many votes that we decided to add 2 extra colors on top of the original red, white, and black. We've added orange and gray to the Pebble color gamut. We spent a lot of time working on the colors because we knew that that was an aesthetic element of the watch and something that people would see on a daily basis. So we actually spent quite a lot of time working on balancing the colors of the plastic until we got the exact shades that we wanted. One of the other key things about Pebble is that it's future-proof. We knew that when we were making this hardware, it would take us a fair amount of time to get the hardware out the door and into mass production. So we decided to add in a couple extra things into the watch so that we could continue to work on software that would support this hardware for quite a long time to come. During the Kickstarter project, we announced that Pebble would have a Bluetooth 4.0 module inside the watch. Even though we were only using Bluetooth 2.1 at this time, we decided to include Bluetooth 4.0 so that over the years, as more devices, more smartphones included Bluetooth 4 or Bluetooth low energy support, we would be able to issue software upgrades to Pebble to enable a much longer battery life or the addition of other connections to wireless sensors. On top of that, we're proud to say today that we've included an ambient light sensor in Pebble as well. This enables Pebble to detect the lighting conditions, and in the future we're thinking of ways that we can integrate this into the operating system. We also threw a magnetometer onto the circuit board, which is the core sensor that's used in compass-like applications. We haven't enabled it yet, of course, but we're pretty happy that we got it on there because we know that the Pebble that we start shipping to our Kickstarter backers will be our goal is to make it awesome on day one, and then just continue with over-the-air software updates that make it even more cool. So on the software side, in parallel to the manufacturing process, we've been working really hard on the core software that goes into Pebble. Compared to our first watch, Impulse, which had a fairly simplistic architecture, we opted to build a new operating system for the watch from the ground up. Other smartwatches are looking for Android or some other more complex software on board. We opted for a free RTOS core that we use as a scheduler, and on top of that, we built a system of drivers and features that plug in and drive most of the features of Pebble. Our first smartwatch, we actually threw our hat in the ring and tried to write or customize our own Bluetooth stack. But in this version of Pebble, we've decided to license industry-grade commercial Bluetooth stack, which is what we use to connect to iPhone and Android. And on top of the OS, we built the OS from the ground up to support multiple applications. So the way that Pebble works is the operating system runs the main notification system, the music control, and some of the core watch faces. But we specifically built it so that other watch faces and watch apps can be installed alongside the operating system by Bluetooth. Alongside the core firmware and operating system on Pebble, we've been working on our mobile apps. So Pebble supports Android 2.3.3 and above with an application that will be available on the Google Play Store by the time that we ship. And it supports any phone with any iOS device with iOS 5 or higher, specifically iPhone 3GS, iPhone 4, 4S, 5, and iPod Touches, generations 3 to 5. Pebble works great with iPhone 5, but it works even better with iOS 5, but it works even better with iOS 6. Apple included a new Bluetooth profile called the Map profile, and as we announced a couple of weeks ago on our Kickstarter page, we've been able to integrate the Map profile into Pebble. We've been able to integrate, for the people off screen, another camera display on our we've been able to integrate the Bluetooth map profile into Pebble so that when Pebble's connected to an iOS 6 device, we can display many of the notifications that are that come to iOS via the top bar or your notifications on the lock screen. We've also started to build the beginnings of the Pebble app cloud. So on the many of our backers all of our backers have already signed into their Pebble account to be able to select the color of Pebble that they want and then enter into their shipping address. The Pebble account system will also become kind of the connection point where other web apps and other websites can push notifications to Pebble, directly to Pebble users. Similar to the way that Facebook Connect works, we'll have a login with Pebble button where, say, for example, if you're a web app developer and you have a traffic website or a stock website or sports website, you can offer your users the ability to log in with their Pebble account and push notifications directly to their watch. On the developing side, I admit that we've been fairly light on the details about different ways that developers can interact with Pebble. But that will rapidly change now that the core firmware and OS of Pebble has been built out, and we're able to spend more of our time working on integration points. We already have a couple integration points working well. As I mentioned, the OAuth, we have a Pebble account system with an OAuth to endpoint, which enables web apps to push notifications to Pebble. That's going to be live in a couple weeks, and we're already testing that with If This Then That, which is a web service that we talked about during the Kickstarter project. We also have published the Android Intent API system, which allows third-party Android apps to send notifications to Pebble directly on the device without having to manage Bluetooth or any sort of connection stuff. All the Android app has to do is push an intent to our Android app, which then in turn pushes it to the watch. On the iOS side, we've been sort of like dipping and ducking through some of the different restrictions that the iOS platform has, but we think we've come up with a solution. It's not ready to go public yet, but interested developers can email us and we can begin working with them to integrate their iOS apps in the same way that Android apps work, to push notifications through to the Pebble. And on the watch itself, we're working on an SDK that enables third-party developers to write applications for the watch. The first generation of this SDK will be a watchface SDK, where developers can write custom watch faces that run on Pebble. We're beta testing this right now with a small group of developers, mainly because we want to get it right before we push it out to the larger. And just briefly, I'll talk a little bit about the UI before I jump in and actually start demoing it. Understanding that Pebble has a couple limitations, it has a black and white screen. It's not as powerful as modern smartphones. But what we wanted to do on the user interface side was definitely show that we had a modern device that people were using in the year 2013. So even though it was black and white, we integrated a lot of animations right into the core of the OS so that it would remain responsive, fluid, and people would really feel that they're using a modern device. But I've been standing in front of the screen for long enough. Let's actually go and demo. So this is one of my favorite features of Pebble. It's watch faces. So at its core, Pebble is quite customizable. So you can switch between watch faces very, very easily. This is one of the first ones that we designed, which is kind of a throwback to the old analog wristwatch designs. But it's super easy to be able to switch watch face from Pebble. This is what we call fuzzy time, because it doesn't tell the exact time. It kind of gives you an idea of what time it is. And this is probably one of the most impressive watch faces that I've seen before. It's called sliding text. We actually looked around on the internet to see if we could find any other wristwatches that would display time in a form, anything like this, and you couldn't find anything. This is the first time that a watch has been able to display fluid animation and text like this right on the screen. So we've also been dogfooding the SDK. So as we continue writing our SDK, we've been testing it ourselves, and a small group of developers have published some watch faces. So this is one of the first watch faces made by an SDK developer. It's based off of a Braun watch face from many years ago, but we decided to call it the Brains watch face. For the true crowd out there, you know, a good smartwatch has to have a binary watch face. So if you're talented enough, you can come up afterwards and tell me what time it is.
It's 9:22.
And then this is just another example of one of the larger glanceable watch faces. So after watch faces, pretty much my second favorite feature is the music control. So I've got this paired to my iPod Touch right here, and I can actually start and stop music right from my Pebble. It's extremely responsive. I can pause, play, and skip tracks really quickly. I found that it's great. I just throw my iPhone into a sound off, and I can just walk around my apartment listening to music, changing tracks. I think someone's also been listening to music in the shower now and changing tracks in the shower, so that might be the first time that's ever happened. So that's an example of one of the integrations that you can have with the smartphone. So this is an email here. You can scroll through. You can see some of the UI elements that we've added to sort of give depth and definitely make the watch feel quite modern. Quite snappy. There's a bit of a lag on the display here. So that's an example of an email. You get the sender name, the subject line, and the content of the message. We've got a very, very nice font here. It's something that we chose specifically. We had designed not specifically for Pebble. It's glanceable, and it looks great on our black and white display. Pebble's great because you can instantly see messages that arrive on your phone and kind of make a time management decision. You know, is this email something that I need to respond to right now, or is it something that I can maybe deal with a little bit later? I think I'll dismiss that. It also does incoming phone calls. So if you have something to call, Pebble vibrates when the call comes in, and you can actually dismiss the call right from your wrist. So if one of your buddies is hugging you at an inopportune time, you can just cancel the call. So this is an example of an incoming SMS. I really like SMS on Pebble because if you're going out for dinner or if you're wandering around, you don't always want to have to dig out your smartphone every time you get a new text message. So being able to see the message quickly and glanceably on your watch really helps. We've also been working to integrate different notification types onto Pebble. This is an example of what a Facebook message from Android looks like right now. Whenever you get a new comment or post on your Facebook feed, you can see the content there. For the people with extremely good eyesight, we've actually included tinier fonts, so you can change the font size right on your Pebble. So if you've got those stellar eyes, you can see through and see that. I personally like the larger, easier to read font myself. So one of the really cool things about Pebble is the integration with web apps. And I'm going to show a little demo with if this then that. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with if this then that. Basically, it's a website that allows you to integrate one web service with another web service. So let's go ahead and show off our video. So I'd like to create a recipe, which is just like a rule. If this, then that. So if something happens, then do something else. It has several different trigger channels. It has a bunch, and they all integrate with Pebble as mentioned. But today, I'd like to set a weather alert. So I go down here. And I want to set a weather alert, so if the current conditions in Las Vegas change to snowing, I want a message sent to my Pebble, because I think that that would be a pretty ridiculous circumstance. I want to know about it really quickly. So if the current conditions change to snow here, then send a message to Pebble. And we'll have it send a small notification. So once I set up this trigger, this action, it will create this rule. And now every time that the weather service announces that it's snowing in Las Vegas, I will get a message sent to my Pebble. Let's switch back here. And while I'd love to wait for that extremely rare circumstance to happen, I can also show you here what it looks like when it does come through to the watch. So one of the other really cool features of Pebble is being able to install different watch faces. From the get-go, each Pebble comes with a set of watch faces. So when Pebble's paired with your phone, you install the iOS app that we've designed, which kind of manages the connection and manages the settings on the Pebble. This is one of the beta versions of the iOS app, which shows the status. It says that it's connected to Pebble. You can see the different notification types that are sent to the watch. And then finally, you can control which watch faces are installed on the watch. So right now I have the binary watch face here. That's the only SDK built watch face that I have right now. But if I want to go to our extremely limited sort of early stage watchapp library, I can browse through and see some of the different watch faces that we've written are available for Pebble. But this is the one that I've had my eye on for a little while. So I've just hit it, and it will hopefully install on my Pebble. Yeah, so I just installed the sector watch. You can see here that I can scroll down and display this new watch face. So it's really quick, it's instantaneous, and you can actually change your Pebbles with the click of a button on your phone. The other cool thing that I want to show off, so we've integrated an accelerometer into Pebble, and that accelerometer includes gesture support. So the lights turn off, and I'll show you how easy it is to turn on the backlight on Pebble. You just tap the watch, and that triggers the accelerometer to turn the backlight on. So if you're lying in bed or going for a run at night, it's great to be able to just click your wrist and turn on the backlight. Cool. So I've shown some of the features that Pebble's going to have right at launch, but one of the really important things to remember is that we built Pebble to be upgradable in the field. It's extremely easy to install new updates on your Pebble. It's as easy as clicking a single button in the mobile app. So one of the things that we've done during our Kickstarter project was we ensured that we would post updates for our Kickstarter backers on our manufacturing process every 2 to 3 weeks. Today, I'd like to announce that we've decided to continue that pledge to our Kickstarter backers. We'll be continuing to post updates, but not just text updates about manufacturing. We'll continue to post software updates to Pebble every 2 to 3 weeks until we fulfill every single feature that we have laid out on our Kickstarter page. I know that right now I wasn't able to demo the Runkeeper integration, but that's in the works and it's coming within about a month or two. So just wanted to make sure that people understand that Pebble is being changed on a practically daily basis, and that as one of the first users of Pebble, you'll be able to see it evolve and take shape. And probably have a lot of feedback into the app development process and figuring out what we're going to work on. But that's it for my demo right now.